Now on Sunrise and streaming on CrossroadsToday.com, the Biden administration targeting violent Israeli settlers in the West Bank following the shooting death of a 17-year-old American. We have the latest on the new sanctions the administration is imposing. And authorities have safely recovered a teen who disappeared from the Gonzales area earlier this week. As for the suspect in the case, he's now facing jail time for harboring a runaway. We have the story. Turning now to the Crossroads, authorities have arrested 2 criminal gang members accused in a drive-by shooting on Sunday. We'll tell you what we're learning about the incident and the suspect's arrest.
And we've got just a little bit more nice spring weather for today and tomorrow before that cool front comes tomorrow afternoon, bringing us a little bit cooler, but warming right back up next week. We'll take a look at that in the weather coming up.
Will the Battle of the Boots still be played? And what about the Lavaca River Showdown as well? I'll have those answers in sports.
You're watching 25 News Now Sunrise. Good morning and thank you for joining us. I'm Carolina Astrain.
And I'm Parker Cox.
And today it's the second day of February 2024. The time is now 6:30 on our Friday morning, and it is National Crepe Day. And that being said, we do have some sweet news for you.
Oh, what's that sweet news?
So Puxatawny Phil, we've been watching the live feed here. I posted the feed on our website, crossroadstoday.com, but it looks like maybe they're not going to show us the rest of the celebration.
Yeah, looks like they have it on standby.
But Phil did, in fact, predict an early spring.
Early spring.
So that's exciting.
And your own 25 News Now meteorologist Parker Cox has also been predicting an early spring. And in fact, if those temperatures this morning don't say otherwise, it is very nice out there right now. Looking at a live look at Victoria, where, like I said, it's a little bit cool out there, but we're seeing some signs of some spring-like mornings. It's in the mid-50s, some of us in the 60s this morning, so very nice out there, but also very humid. Right now, 97% humidity for us here in the Crossroads, so you might see a little bit of fog out there this morning, so please be careful. In fact, looking at the visibility for all of us across the board here, this morning, a good majority of us are seeing some of that fog out there this morning. See what I can find here. Got a 1 mile in Bay City, and that looks to be, oh, they got a half mile in Warren. That looks to be the small or the lowest I can find, so please be careful out on the roads with that fog. But the good news is that fog will be out of our area by around 9 to 10 a.m. this morning as that sun comes up in the sky. But looking at your weather headlines for the rest of this week and into next week, we've got the thunderstorms arriving overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning ahead of that cool front that's going to be coming our way tomorrow afternoon, which is going to cool us down just a little bit. Then we're going to warm right back up to these nice weather, 70s late next week. But looking at your future tracker, because like I said, not really expecting any, not too much going on this afternoon, as you can see here by 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. Maybe a couple, like 1 or 2 light showers, but going into tonight, overnight tonight, and into tomorrow morning by midnight, going to be plenty of thunderstorms out there on our radar, with it ending by about 7 to 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. But there is also a very slight severe risk, but nothing really encompassing our area except for the northwestern counties where you might see a little strong winds. But coming up a little bit, we'll take a look at those temperatures dropping next week, but also warming back up in just a few more moments. Back to Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. President Joe Biden issued an executive order Thursday targeting Israeli settlers in the West Bank following the fatal shooting of a 17-year-old American citizen last month. A senior administration leader says the president's order will target settlers who directly perpetrated violence and those who have engaged in repeated acts of intimidation, property destruction, leading to the forced displacement of Palestinian communities. The sanctions are focused on visa restrictions for foreign nationals, some who have already been persecuted in the Israeli justice system. Sanctions do not address American citizens who may also perpetrate settler violence. The decision was made following the death of an American teen who was shot and killed last month during a visit to the West Bank to learn more about his Palestinian heritage. Authorities have arrested the man connected to an Amber Alert in Gonzales County this week. Barry Lee Van Mersbergen is accused in the abduction of 42-year-old Scarlett Smith. Authorities found and safely recovered Smith in San Marcos on Wednesday. Van Mersbergen faces 5 charges this morning in her abduction. Charges include harboring a runaway child, resisting arrest, and probation violation from Dallas County. BPD and U.S. Marshals took down 2 members of a violent criminal gang Monday. Their arrest came just 1 day after the men reportedly did a drive-by shooting on a home on Cypress Street. Authorities say the suspects fired 30 rounds into the home during that shooting. Authorities took the suspects down in the 1200 block of John Stockbauer Drive. 21-year-old Erasmo Garcia and 18-year-old Rico Macias face charges of deadly conduct, discharge of a firearm, and tampering or fabricating physical evidence with the intent to impair the investigation. They're now in the Victoria County Jail with no bond on those charges. As for the shooting on Cypress, there's no reports of any injuries. Wednesday morning around 9 o'clock, the DPS pulled over this truck hauling a horse trailer. This was on Highway 59 about 8 miles west of Goliad. The truck was registered in Edinburgh. Authorities found 11 undocumented people hiding in the horse trailer. The 42-year-old driver had an ID from Mission and is a U.S. citizen. Authorities detained 9 people, including the driver, and about 3 to 4 people got away. The driver is charged with 8 counts of human smuggling. A man tried to escape deputies during a traffic stop yesterday, but he didn't get far thanks to the help of a canine unit named Thor. Warren County Sheriff deputies initiated the traffic stop on U.S. Highway 59 South near County Road 224. Deputies say the GMC Sierra they tried to stop came back stolen out of Houston. When they stopped the vehicle, they say 45-year-old Rabel Jimenez got out of the truck and ran. Canine unit Thor captured Jimenez at a nearby wooded area. Authorities transported Jimenez to the Wharton County Jail on charges of evading arrest or detention and unauthorized use of a vehicle. Victoria County Sheriff deputies responded to a crash yesterday around 7 a.m. near Bloomington High School on FM 616. Deputies found a truck crashed into a utility pole, but the driver was nowhere to be found. The utility company was called in to fix the damage, and the pickup truck was towed from the scene. The crash remains under criminal investigation. Major League Baseball stepping up to the plate following the theft of a statue honoring Jackie Robinson from a Wichita, Kansas park last week. The league announced Wednesday that all 30 teams will join together to pay for the statue to be replaced. The statue of Robinson was unveiled in 2021 at McAdams Park, the home base of a local youth organization called League 42. In honor of Robinson, it was stolen last week and later found destroyed. In addition to the statue, MLB will also help fund League 42's plans to upgrade its facilities with new lights, new turf for the fields, and updated academic facilities. Hulu cracking down on sharing passwords. The streaming service is notifying customers that they will not be able to share their accounts with people outside of their household. Hulu says the new terms took effect last week for new subscribers and will be effective March 14th for existing customers. The move follows similar actions by Netflix and Disney+. And that leads us to your viewer poll. You can scan the QR code right there on your screen to take part. We ask you, do you share passwords for your streaming apps? Okay, let's take a look. 21% of you say yes, you do. And 79% of you say no, you do not. We want to keep hearing from y'all. Come to crossroadstoday.com/vote to take part in our viewer poll. And remember, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's free at Crossroads Today. Hit the like button and click the notification bell. The time is now 6:37 on our Friday morning. Here's a look at what's coming up on 25 News Now Sunrise. Former Sheriff A.J. Louderback running for that House District 30 seat.
I'm ABC's M. Wynn in Washington. The Pentagon is in its final preparations for retaliation after a drone attack in Jordan killed 3 U.S. service members. How President Biden will be attending their dignified transfer today, coming up.
And also coming up after the break, we'll take a look at your school bus forecast, followed by your weather and health forecast. And later on Sunrise, we'll take another look at the timing for those thunderstorms coming our way tonight.
Here's a look at what's coming up on Community Crossroads. We hear from empty bowls, and we learn about Black History Month, protection from scammers, and ways to detect fraud.
Now, the second type is actually a criminal offense, and it involves exploitation of a vulnerable person.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. If you're all tuning in with us this morning, you're looking at a live look at Cuero, where it looks like that fog is kind of lifting just a little bit, but still kind of hanging on just a little bit out there. Right now, about 61 up there in Cuero. But with that dew point matching that temperature, you still got a 99, about 100% humidity out there. So please be careful, because you're bound to see at least a little bit of fog out there this morning on the road. So please be careful on the roads this morning. But if you're sending your kiddos at the door this morning, it's going to be about 53 with a little bit of that fog sticking around. But you might want to pack up just a light jacket, because it's going to be warming right back up to 73 yet again this afternoon. Also going to be very windy today, because we got that low coming our way with that cool front. overnight or tomorrow afternoon. But looking at your weather and health forecast, you've still got a little bit of tree pollen out there. It's moderate right now, so I'll let y'all decide if you want to take an allergy pill or not. But the rest of that, I've got UV index is still at 5, not too bad. Moderate, it's nothing to worry about. But everything else, green lights, go for launch. We're all good to go for the rest of the day. But for the rest of this weekend, going to cool down just a couple degrees actually after that cool front arrives, but then warming right back up late next week to the 70s, and that nice weather with a good shot at those showers and thunderstorms coming our way overnight and tomorrow morning, to which we will take a look at and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. President Joe Biden will join the families of the 3 fallen soldiers who were killed in a recent drone attack. But first, we're going to hear from local sports reporter Zach Brown.
Yesterday was UIL realignment day, and some of the bigger stories, or one of them at least, was the story of East and West splitting up. This due to their enrollment numbers. East had 2,044, West just under 1,900. The difference was about 193 students, and it was enough to bump Victoria West down to 5A Division II. Meanwhile, East stays put in Division I. However, the battle for the boot is not going anywhere. That game will be a non-district game, of course. They are thinking it will likely be week 2 of next season. In Class 3A, we had Hallettsville and Yoakum. They're staying put in their district that actually pretty much looks the exact same. Goliad, Palacios, and Edna, they're also going to stay in the same district. But one of their district rivals are moving on, and that's Industrial. Head coach Craig Nairn and his Cobras dropping to 3A Division II after turning in lower enrollment, but they're joining Tidehaven in a tough district. As for the Lavaca River Showdown, well, it's still on. They apparently already have it scheduled for week 1 of next year. With your 25 Sports Now, I'm Zach Brown.
Thank you, Zach. All right, we want to invite y'all to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today. Plus, you can find it on your connected TV through Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, and Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. President Joe Biden will join the families of the 3 fallen soldiers who were killed in the recent drone attack in Jordan today when the bodies of their loved ones arrive at Dover Air Force Base in Delaware. The White House has vowed to retaliate against the Iran-backed militants blamed for the attack.
Final preparations are underway for the U.S. to strike back against the Iranian-backed group blamed for the drone attack in Jordan that killed 3 American soldiers and wounded 47 others. The White House warning this will be a multi-tiered attack over a period of time.
We will do what we need to do to make sure that those responsible are held properly accountable.
Officials signaled it's unlikely for strikes to happen inside Iran, despite forensics determining it was an Iranian-made drone fired by an Islamic militia group that hit that base. This as Houthi rebels backed by Iran brazenly launched a new wave of missiles against ships in the Red Sea in response to the U.S. destroying 10 of their attack drones and a ground control station in Yemen. Later this morning, President Biden will take part in the dignified transfer of the 3 fallen soldiers during a ceremony at Dover Air Force Base.
They've raised their lives in harm's way. They risked it all. And we'll never forget the sacrifices and service to our country, that the dozens of service members who were wounded and are recovering now.
The president this week calling the families of Sergeants William Rivers, Breonna Moffett, and Kennedy Sanders. Video from the Atlanta Journal-Constitution showing the moment the Sanders family received that call.
I got one of those phone calls out of the blue to tell me my wife and daughter were dead.
The president comforting them, reflecting on his own experience of grief when he lost his wife and daughter in a car accident and his son Beau to brain cancer.
If you've made it through, I know that, we can make it through as well.
The president, first lady, defense secretary, and joint chiefs of staff will all meet with the families of the fallen service members today before the dignified transfer. M. Nguyen, ABC News, Washington.
Former Sheriff A.J. Louderback is running for the state Representative House District 30 seat after Jeannie Morrison announced she would not be seeking re-election. Last night, he hosted a meet and greet at the club at Colony Creek. Louderback has picked up the endorsements of Attorney General Ken Paxton, Land Commissioner Don Buckingham, and most recently Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller. Miller was in attendance last night to show his support for Louderback's campaign. Louderback added that the border is a primary issue that he wants to address.
Well, Andy's he's the real deal. You know, he is a Texan. You just look at him. He oozes Texas. He's steadfast. He's not going to be wishy-washy. If he tells you something, you can count on it. You can take it to the bank. He's the kind of elected official you can turn your back on. You don't have to watch him all the time. If he tells you something, he's going to do it. He'll deliver.
Clearly, the number one issue in this district is the border, as it is throughout the state and as it is throughout the United States. And I'm the only candidate that has actually worked on the border. I have extensive background on the border. I've worked the border situation, the border crisis, actively since 2006.
Early voting begins February 20th and it goes through March 1st for that District 30 state representative seat. And Election Day will be March 5th. Other candidates for this race include Brett Baldwin, Victoria Mayor Jeff Bachnight, and Vanessa Hicks Callaway. The time is now 6:47 on our Friday morning. Still to come. For the first time, an advertising company has settled an opioid lawsuit.
Well, good morning, Crossroads. I hope you all have been enjoying that nice warm weather that we've been having all week last week. In fact, yesterday we got up to 74, and next week we're going to have just about the same. But today is actually Groundhog Day, and that actually leads us to today's weather poll. Today's weather poll actually asks you, do you think we're going to see an early spring, or do you think we're going to see a late winter? And actually, we just got word from Punxsutawney Phil himself, and he thinks it's going to be an early spring. And I've actually been right there with y'all. I think it's going to be early spring as well because we're already seeing it. 74 degrees yesterday. But look what y'all are saying. About 33% of y'all, a third of y'all say an early spring, and 2/3 of y'all, 67% say a late winter. But to vote on any of the future weather polls, go to crossroadstoday.com/voteweather to participate and see what everybody else says as well. Like I said yesterday, 74 degrees. And if you like that, it's going to be just about the same today. Getting up to about 73 today, and the rest of the beautiful state of Texas getting to that nice weather as well. In fact, tomorrow we're going to get to just about the same as well, about 72 tomorrow, with that cool front coming our way in the afternoon. You can actually kind of see it right there on that line right there. But looking at what's coming, like I said, what's coming our way, we got that cool front actually, week one, coming off this upper level low that just came out of the Pacific and ran over the Rockies, and it's going to give us a good shot at some showers and thunderstorms overnight tonight into tomorrow morning before it finally clears out by around 8 tomorrow. But coming our way is lots of windy days. It's going to be today, tomorrow, Sunday, and Monday. With Sunday and Monday going to be the windiest, where we could see wind gusts up to 40 miles an hour. But we'll take a look at that, and there's rain timing and the chances for the timing of that and more in just a few more moments. Back to you, Carolina.
Thank you, Parker. For the first time, an advertising company has settled an opioid lawsuit. Publicis, a company that worked on Purdue Pharma's OxyContin account, was accused of falsely marketing opioids as safe. The agreed settlement of $350 million must be paid within the next 2 months. In addition, the French marketing company will not take on any more opioid clients. Publicis worked on Purdue Pharma's OxyContin account, and the New York Attorney General Letitia James says the company convinced doctors to overprescribe opioids. The company in a statement said it did not admit to wrongdoing, but hopes the payment will help the effort to combat opioid addiction. The Attorneys General of New York and Colorado led the settlement talks. They include a consortium of 8 other states. 139 people aboard Cunard Cruise Line's Queen Victoria aren't having a very nice vacation right now. 123 passengers and 16 crew members are suffering from vomiting and diarrhea. The CDC reports the cause of the illness is not known, but those symptoms are consistent with the norovirus, which is known to spread easily in close quarters. The Queen Victoria is on a 107-night sailing that began in Southampton, England on January 11th. More than 800 passengers and close to 1,000 crew members are on board. The cruise line says it has increased its cleaning and disinfection procedures. Still to come on Sunrise, news to know before you go. Police investigating after a child's body was found encased in concrete. Police are investigating after a child's body was found encased in concrete in Colorado as the search for 2 other children continues. The remains were discovered on January 10th at a storage unit in Pueblo. The unit was being cleared out for non-payment. The items in the storage unit included a metal container filled with hardened concrete, and an investigation discovered the child's remains. Police in Pueblo are searching for two children who would have been 5 and 3 when they were last seen in the summer of 2018. Authorities have declined to say what the connection was between the child whose remains were found in that storage unit and the two missing children. The identity of the victim will be released by the coroner after the family is notified. The age of the victim or when the child was believed to have died was not released by the police. We're following the mayoral special election tomorrow. The city of Victoria called for the election after Mayor Jeff Bouknight announced he was running for the District 30 House seat. On the ballot, it's Peter Brown, Carissa Winters, Josephine Solis, Dwayne Crocker, Jacob Sauceda, and Bob Constantine. As for Bouknight, he remains in the seat until a new mayor is elected. Bouknight was first elected to city council in 2013 and was elected mayor in 2021. Then he was re-elected mayor in May 2022. A Victoria ISD board member not running for re-election. Mandy Lingle decided not to run for re-election for her District 4 position with the BISD. Lingle was elected to that position in 2021. In a statement, she says she feels blessed to have the opportunity to make positive impacts in the community while serving with her fellow trustees on the board. Victoria ISD will hold an election this May 4th. The District 2 and 4 seats are up for grabs. District 4 trustee Mandy Lingle is not seeking re-election, and Bridget Marshall holds the District 2 seat. The deadline to apply for a place on the ballot is Friday, February 16th. The University of Texas at Austin has become the second public university in the country to raise $1 billion to support students and the first in the state to do so. Read this story by the Texas Tribune on our website, crossroadstoday.com. And we want to invite you to experience our digital streaming service, Crossroads Today Plus. You can find it on your connected TV through your Amazon Fire TV, Roku, Apple TV, Android TV. Just search Crossroads Today Plus. And we do have time for a final check of our forecast. Parker, I hear it's a little foggy out there.
A little foggy, but also a very pretty sunrise. Look at that beautiful sunrise in Port Lavaca with that nice cloud cover over top, making it a little bit dark with that sunrise, but very pretty out there, but also quite nice out there right now. 64 in Port Lavaca, even here in the Crossroads, quite nice. But dew point just 2 degrees off is very humid at 95%. So we could see a little bit of fog out there in the area this morning. So please be careful, because looking across the board, there are for sure some areas that are seeing some fog this morning. But we do have some showers and thunderstorms coming our way overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. Looking at your future tracker here, not really expecting anything popping up in this afternoon, but going into tonight and into the overnight hours, you can see here by midnight into 9 to midnight, good shot at some thunderstorms coming through our area before it clears up by around 8 or 9. And we do have a good shot at possibly seeing some severe weather, but not likely here. And it's going to be windy the next few days as well, where we could see gusts up to 40 on Sunday and Monday, with that cool front dropping us just a little bit cooler.
All right, well, thank you, Parker, and thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful Friday and the rest of your weekend. Remember to follow us on YouTube and join Karina, Don, Mac, and Zach today for 25 News Now at 5, 6, and 10. And hopefully Puxatawny Phil's prediction powers remain true and we get that early spring.